Episode 10. You are listening to the new Glam Gal podcast, the podcast where style meets confidence. Conquer the frustration of trying on clothes and learn to dress and love the body you are in. There are no size or weight requirements here. I'm your host, Miss J. Join me, won't you? Hey, Glam Gal. Welcome back to the podcast. This episode was actually requested by my aunt Cecilia. We are having some pretty amazing conversations about style and what it means to her. She also has taken up the challenge of cleaning out her undies and bra drawer. And during the course of one of our conversations, she said, "Hey, all of your style advice applies to women at every age. But I think you should do a podcast letting women at all ages know that you can be stylish at any age." So this episode is dedicated to her, my Aunt Ceci. That's what we call her. So I want to make a quick distinction between what's considered fashion and what's considered style. And I'm going to offer you a quote by Miss Coco Chanel herself. She was interviewed by Joseph Barry in McCall's Magazine, 1965. And she made this distinction, which I think is really helpful here. She said, "Mode, which is a French word for fashion, mode passes, style remains. Mode, or fashion, is made of a few amusing ideas, meant to be used up quickly so they can be replaced by others in the next collection. A style endures, even as it is renewed and evolved." Now, fashion is whatever the prevailing style is at the time. But if you're a woman who has her own sense of style, that endures whatever age you are. Now, this is not a judgment on your own personal sense of style or how you choose to dress yourself every day, or even which fashion of the moment you tend to adopt. I make this distinction, and I think it's an important one, because if fashion fades, but style is forever, then that's a thought we can all adopt, whatever age we happen to be on the calendar. Now, it's fun for me to go back and look at catalogs in the 50s and 40s, because there's always a section called matron. And the models wearing the quote-unquote matron garments looked to be about in their 40s and 50s, and that was considered matron wear. They were also slightly fluffy, so that might be why they had that matron moniker placed on them. But I often remind my clients that my 40s and 50s will be different from my mother's 40s and 50s, and that will be very different from her mother's 40s and 50s. Just from a practical standpoint, humans are living longer. There have been innovations in many, many areas, particularly medicine. A lot of women are taking care of themselves in a way that they never have before because they envision a longer future for themselves than they ever have before. They're also taking care of themselves for themselves, which is very different than other notions of women taking care of themselves for the sake of their husbands. As we all know, most women tend to outlive their husbands. So gone away is that old adage of dressing for your husband, dressing for your boyfriend. Women are dressing for themselves. They're also not dressing to fulfill some fantasy that is presented to them through print magazine. So, if women are choosing to dress for themselves, and fashion really is an illumination on what's currently trending, but style lasts forever. Style endures, style evolves. Women too, as they evolve, as they change, as they endure, so does their style. But nowhere in any quote I found does it say, because you reached X age, you are no longer stylish. When I was in retail, I will remember this so clearly. I was helping this beautiful woman get dressed. She had these beautiful arms. They were soft, they were toned. She had this great head of white hair. And I just stood back and I was like, you look so fabulous. Wow. And she was a little embarrassed. I could tell that I was kind of checking her out. We stepped out of the dressing room and her husband was waiting outside for her. And he says, oh, your arms are past their prime. Can we get a cardigan to see how it looks with her arms covered up? And I turned on him without skipping a beat and sort of forgetting the setting that I was in. And I said, how dare you? She's fabulous. I mean, I would kill to have those arms. And his response was, oh, honey, just wait till you reach a certain age. You'll want to cover your arms up too. And she just stood there silent. She didn't come to her own defense. And I realized that this was probably a long battle that they had had. And apparently she had lost. And likely I was not going to win the war or the battle that day. So I pulled a cardigan off the rack. And when we were alone again, I told her that I thought she was beautiful and that she was fabulous. And not in hopes of looking like her when I reached her age, because I notice sometimes younger women add that sort of moniker at the end of a flattering comment. Well, I hope to look like you when I'm your age. How about we just kind of love and appreciate women where they are without adding that kind of nonsense at the end? Just watch out for that in your compliments. I was guilty of this too. But I really meant it when I said that she was fabulous and she was gorgeous and she exuded this grace. And never in my mind did I think anything was wrong with her arms because she'd reached a certain age. And I hear a lot of women say these sort of things. Oh, I'm 50 now, I have to cut my hair. What? Says who? Oh, I'm 60 now, I can't wear those bright colors, it looks like I'm trying too hard. What? Says who? Oh, that outfit's a little young for me. What? Says who? Now, I'm not advocating that you attempt to be any way other than you currently are. I'm not suggesting you adopt a sense of style that you're not comfortable with. But I don't think there's anything such as, quote unquote, dressing your age. I think style endures and evolves as you endure and evolve, and you get to decide what style at whatever age means to you. You get to decide whether you're stylish. You get to decide whether you want to feel confident in the body you're in at the number on the calendar that you are. After all, how do you create confidence? With your thoughts. One way to do that is to create stylish thoughts. That's all at your disposal, whatever age you are, right now. So, Glam Gal. Glam Gals of all ages, your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to decide what style means to you. What will style mean to you 10 years from now? Look out into the future. Do you see your style evolving or enduring? Maybe a little bit of both. Which fashion trends do you want to adopt this season? And which ones do you want to throw away? It's all up to you. I would love to see what you're up to, Glam Gal. Hit me up on Instagram using the hashtag #NewGlamGal. If you would like to do a little work on this, because maybe you've been beating yourself up about your age and your style, feel free to sign up for a free style session at judithgaton.com/about. I will also leave a link in the show notes. Okay, let's get it, Glam Gal. Miss J out.